covering your campus, your community, and your world. From the McElroy Communication Arts Center in the Grant Price Studio, this is WTV8 News.
I always wish it were less.
Coming up, student debt is piling up. See where Iowa graduates stack up against the rest of the country.
And do you know what your life purpose is? We'll take a look at what it means to Wartburg students who have that purpose.
And severe weather hit close to home. We'll show you what happened. Your WTV8 News starts now.
The guards came in and told us we needed to leave the room immediately. In my 28 years here, I've not had any experience like this.
A bomb threat was issued on the Wartburg campus last Wednesday night, evacuating the Student Center. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Andrew Bridgewater.
And I'm Jacqueline Schutte.
Last Wednesday night, a male voice called Wartburg's information desk claiming there was a bomb in the Student Center.
WTV8's Danny Householder anchored our coverage last night and joins us now.
Andrew and Jackie, like you guys said, there was a call at about 6:45 p.m. into the Student Center, and then at that point, security started the evacuation process. Everyone in the Student Center and surrounding buildings were immediately evacuated. Local law enforcement kept people as far away from the Student Center as possible. After the building had been searched, no bomb had been found, and students were allowed to return to the building. And unfortunately, there hasn't been any progress on finding out on who made the call.
Thanks, Danny. We'll bring more details on the story as it develops. College tuition is on the rise here at Wartburg and around the nation. WTV8's Andrew Bridgewater has more on what are some calling a student debt crisis.
The 10 most expensive schools in the U.S. all cost over $55,000 when you include room and board. 6 of those schools are in New York, but if you look at the state where college students have the most debt, it's not New York, it's New Hampshire, and in second is Iowa. Wartburg senior Drew Stradel is graduating Wartburg with a degree in communication arts this May. He is also graduating with thousands of dollars in debt.
I'm not sure how much I have in private loans outside of this, but I know that I have $27,000 in loans just at Wartburg.
This is about the average debt for an Iowa college graduate. The average student graduates from an Iowa college with just over $29,000 in debt. However, according to the Iowa College Student Aid Commission, on average, a Wartburg student has over $38,000 in debt. This is higher than any other Iowa Conference college in the state. And compared to the region schools, a Wartburg student on average has more than $11,000 of debt.
I always wish the average were lower. More importantly, I wish it were lower for every single student who has debt.
Even though on average Wartburg students have almost $39,000 in student loan debt, the debt is spread out over 10 or 20 years, making it more manageable. On average, over 90% of Wartburg students graduate in 4 years. Those students who enter the workforce right after Wartburg earn around $40,000 in their first job.
If you look at the value that you get, $30,000 of debt on average is worth, in my opinion, roughly $1 million to $2 million more over a lifetime of earnings.
But for right now, the class of 2012 sees a bill they have to pay 6 months after graduation.
I'm worried because it's just one of those expenses that I'm going to have to see for a lot of years to come.
And according to research conducted by the College Board, the net tuition price paid by students when you compare inflation to financial aid has gone down by about $400 in the last 5 to 7 years. And a rise in tuition isn't helping that number decrease, which could do more to the college than hurt its enrollment numbers. Tune in to Sports Night tomorrow night at 8 to see how this tuition increase could actually affect Wartburg athletics as well.
Wartburg held its first Research Internship Creative Endeavor or RICE Day Thursday. All classes were canceled as students attended presentations from all departments, ranging from student-made documentaries to art displays. RICE Day was formed in order to meet the college's goal to encourage learning across all disciplines and falls in line with this year's theme of telling the Wartburg story. The Waverly community was also invited to all the events on campus.
We see an increase in bandwidth next year. The increase would be the largest internet increase Wartburg has ever seen. If the proposal from ITS is accepted, the internet speeds on campus are expected to double. In addition, ITS is hoping to be able to add more access points for wireless routers to make this service more accessible across campus. The increase will make the internet speed faster in order to keep up with a growing number of devices that use internet on a daily basis.
What does a hunter, an actor, and a medieval enthusiast have in common? They all have weapons stored on campus in the security office. If you need to bring a weapon on campus, call security and they will escort you from your car to the vault. Security also escorts everyone retrieving their weapon. Security and Safety Director John Myers says the campus has a clear policy about guns and weapons on campus.
Our college campus policy is there are no weapons, which includes anything even from airsoft or BB guns or replicas. Anything that looks like a weapon is prohibited on campus.
The weapons are stored in a safe that contains 3 locks. Currently, there are only some knives and swords in the vault, along with toy guns used in play productions. Most students see the freshman dorms on campus as a little lower quality than the rest.
WTV8's Kelsey Bemis dove right into these issues to see if there are any plans in the works to improving these living conditions.
Each year, nearly 700 students live in Clinton and the complex, also known as the freshman dorms. But are students getting their money's worth when it comes to living in these buildings?
No, I actually don't really feel like I'm getting my money's worth.
The dorms, which were built in the 50s, are outdated in many ways.
I feel like they're very inefficient. I also feel like they're not very well maintained by both the students and the staff who's supposed to clean up.
Student Body Vice President Josh Trueblood says he and President Hollis Hansen Pollock hope to address issues with the dorms next year. They hope to help students get more for their money.
I would probably say that they're not getting as much as they could. I think that something can be improved in each of those dorms.
According to Res Life Director Wes Brooks, the college has plans for these improvements. He says there are a few key issues that need addressed.
I think the 2 big issues that we have would definitely be just bathrooms, updating and renovating bathrooms, and furniture, to be honest.
The freshman dorms have already received new desks this year. Brooks says a significant amount of rooms will receive new bed frames next year as well. Although many changes need to be made to the buildings, there is one major thing that stands in the way of these renovations.
Money is a big part.
Just getting the money.
Money, I mean, is certainly a huge one.
Brooks says that a major renovation of the dorms would cost millions of dollars. He says for now the college will continue to make minor changes over a span of many years.
We're going to be addressing the furniture issue throughout the next few years with a significant refurbishment plan as well. Just making it look more fresh and crisp, I think, would go a long way.
Reporting for WTV8 News, I'm Kelsey Bemis.
And Wartburg students filled the campus with music this past weekend. Wartburg Choir presented a concert in the chapel on Saturday, celebrating 75 years as a choir. The concert included soloists from the music department and recognized this year's graduating seniors. And on Sunday, the Wartburg's Wind Ensemble performed in Newman Auditorium, where their seniors were honored as well. Both groups will go on tour starting this Friday.
Coming up, we'll share some tips on staying safe this tornado season.
And find out what some Wartburg students think their purpose in life is. You're watching WTV8 News.
Iowa averages about 47 tornadoes per year. In 2011, the state was just above average at 51 tornadoes.
And we are still early in this year's tornado season, and this past weekend's storms were just a reminder of what might still be coming. WTV8's Ben Hopmore sat down with Bremer County Emergency Management Coordinator Kip Ladegi to get some tips on staying safe this season.
National Weather Service. Run outside with a camera. Don't run outside to videotape it and take pictures of it. Head to safety so we can report, like they did in Texas, that minimal number of injuries, minimal number of deaths. We never wish for those kind of events to occur, but for that to happen just at the beginning of Severe Weather Awareness Week, it does draw attention to the fact that we are in that season. If you hear that there's a watch out, realize that means conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather. Doesn't mean anything's been spotted, but it means it's favorable. If we have a warning issued, that means that it's been confirmed, or it's very likely radar indicated that we've got severe weather. Whether you're on the Wartburg campus or whether you're at your home, always pay attention. Keep in mind what's your escape routes if we do have severe weather hit, so that you're not at a point that you hear this, suddenly you hear this, the tornado warnings go off, or you hear law enforcement say something, and you're wondering, what am I supposed to do now? If you're in the dorms, or you're in a hotel somewhere, where are your escape routes? Where's your safe rooms? Know where they are so you can react quickly.
And during Severe Weather Awareness Week, security sent out a Wartburg Alert test. Wartburg Alert uses text, phone, calls, and emails to inform students about campus emergencies.
And after last week's bomb threat, a total of 884 people on campus have now signed up for Wartburg's Alert, which is about 100 people higher than before the threat. To sign up for Wartburg Alert, you can go to www.wartburg.edu/security.
And coming up, what's your purpose? WTV8's Danny Householder got an inside look at what some students think their purpose is.
And the Knights have finally taken to the diamond. We'll have the results of last week's games coming up in sports.
And with finals approaching, students will have the opportunity to show off what they took from the books. But this week, WTVA's Danny Householder learned about something else that Wartburgers should take from college.
Wartburg College can teach a student plenty of information in 4 years. However, there are more important things in the world than facts. The young learners of Wartburg need to find out why they are here. In other words, they need to realize their life purpose. But what exactly is a life purpose?
That's a tough question. I never really thought about it.
I think it's a nice phrase.
Got any answers for me?
It's a difficult term to describe, but life purpose is defined as the reason for which someone exists. For an easier answer, I asked some other students about a similar but different topic, life goals.
A goal is something that you desire to achieve.
Something that you want so badly that you will put as much time and effort and energy into it to achieve that goal.
Something that you set for yourself to better yourself in the long run.
If you have goals, you might not be too far from fulfilling your life's purpose. According to Michael Gleason, who works with Vocation in the Pathways Center, life goals and life purpose go hand in hand.
When I think about goals and I think about purpose, I think that individuals often think of purpose as the big umbrella term for what they want, how they want to contribute to the world and to others. Oftentimes I think life goals are the method through which they express their purpose.
To put it simply, life goals help someone achieve their life purpose. For example, if someone senses that his or her life purpose is to entertain, that person might have the goal of becoming a musician. Somebody else's purpose might be to communicate, so he or she will have the desire to write articles for a publication. Or perhaps, someone's purpose is to save lives. Meet Eric Vaghi. He is a second-year biology student and currently studying to become a doctor. He believes that he was born to prevent death for as long as possible. Vaghi determined this years ago when he realized that he had a passion for helping people.
I just have a desire to help other people understand what a good way to live is, and just to see someone sick or hurting makes me want to help them to live their life better, or help them to feel better.
Vaghi is pretty certain of his life purpose, but he says that he will never stop pursuing his reason for existence.
I personally don't think I have figured it out. I don't think purpose is a destination, I think it's a process.
So, go out, find your purpose, and do everything you can to fulfill it. Reporting for WTV8 News, I'm Danny Householder.
And this year's presidential election took a big step forward last week. After recent primary losses, Republican candidate Rick Santorum suspended his campaign, leaving to the race to frontrunner Mitt Romney. In the race for the GOP nomination, Romney's political strategy will now switch from debating fellow Republican Rick Santorum to debating President Obama. Election Day is on November 6th.
If you think you missed the tax deadline on April 15th, don't worry. The tax deadline this year has been moved to tomorrow, April 17th. April 15th, which is normally the tax deadline, fell on a Sunday when the post office is closed. The post office is also closed today due to Emancipation Day, a holiday in Washington, D.C. celebrating the freeing of slaves in the district. Under the tax code, filing deadlines cannot fall on a Saturday, Sunday, or a holiday.
And severe weather hit the Midwest on Saturday night, causing plenty of damage. Tornadoes touched down in places like Oklahoma and Kansas, where most of the rest of the Midwest received severe thunderstorms and some hail. Right here in Iowa, a tornado tore through the town of Creston, southwest of Des Moines, causing damage to a local hospital. Hospital officials say that no patients or staff suffered any major injuries.
Yesterday marked the 100th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic. In addition to the re-release of the 1997 Titanic film in 3D, people across the country were in commemoration of the anniversary. Among those, a cruise ship that was taken to the area where the Titanic sank, and an auction selling a number of items saved off of the Titanic. Now let's go over to Nathan Ford to see what's coming up in sports.
Coming up in sports, both baseball and softball teams were in action last week. We have the results. Stay tuned because sports is next. The baseball team stepped out of conference play for a doubleheader against Carleton this weekend. Scott Benson got the start for the Knights in Game 1, and he had it working in this one. The Knights gave him some well-deserved run support in this one. First, Michael Shinstock recorded an RBI as Blake Wilson scored from first. Then Ryan Powers singled home a run to put Wartburg up 2-0. Powers was at it again with a 2-run single to left center, putting the Knights up 4-0. Benson got another strikeout, pitched a complete game shutout, including 6 strikeouts for the 5-0 victory. Carleton got things started in Game 2. The Knights were led by Ryan Powers, who went 2 for 3 with a career-high 3 RBIs as Wartburg picked up their 6th straight win, 4-0. Carleton got things started with an unusual opening run as the Wartburg defense couldn't tag the runner out at home. Then they got on a board again with this grounder through the hole, and Wartburg was down 3-0. Orange and Black cut the lead on a sacrifice fly, scoring Nick Messina from third. Wartburg could not do no further damage, though, and Carleton took this one 5-2. The Knights are now 15-13 overall and 7-5 in conference play. Wartburg will return to the Diamond on Friday and Saturday for 3 games at Loris. The softball team was looking to pull a monumental upset when the 6th-ranked Central Dutch came to town Saturday. Wartburg was down 11-0 after just 4 innings, but found a little offensive success with this Lynn Heitkamp RBI single. Central took Game 1 11-2. Once again, Game 2 saw the Dutch jump out to an early lead, and Central held the shutout this time, winning 14-0. Lynn Heitkamp led the way at the plate in Game 1, going 2 for 3 with an RBI. The Knights are now 6-28 overall and 0-10 in conference play. Wartburg will host Buena Vista in a doubleheader this Saturday beginning at 2 p.m. The men's tennis team hosted a triangular against Ashford and IIAC opponent Buena Vista on Saturday. Wet conditions forced the matches indoors for the majority of the game. In the morning match against the Saints, the Knights dropped 2 of 3 doubles matches, but bounced back to win all 5 singles matches, giving them a 5-2 victory. The afternoon match against the Beavers also saw the Knights fall behind 2-1 after the doubles matches. Once again, Wartburg swept singles play for a 4-2 victory. The Knights improved their record to 12-6 overall and 2-3 in the IIAC. Wartburg will play their final regular season match of the season this Saturday at Simpson. The Wartburg track and field teams continued their outdoor season at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville Saturday, with the number 1 ranked women taking home the championship. The Knights finished with 156 points, 11 points ahead of second place Wisconsin Oshkosh. Individual champions included Sky Morrison in the 100 and the long jump, and Nevada Morrison in the 200 and 400. The 4x100 team also placed first, as well as the 4x400 team. Meanwhile, the men placed 8th at UW-Platteville with 46.5 points. Although they did not have any champions, they had 15 top 10 finishes. The Knights will hit the track again this weekend at the Kansas Relays and UW-Oshkosh. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
This year on WTV8, we have covered some big stories. Everything from bar fights to bomb threats. We've covered it all.
And with this being our last show of the year, we are going to end tonight's broadcast with some of the biggest moments that happened on Wartburg campus in this past year.
Is WTV8 News.
Before we begin tonight's newscast, we have breaking news coming into the WTV8 newsroom.
Just moments ago, students were evacuated from Hebron Residence Hall on Wartburg's campus.
The fire official got a call about 15 minutes ago. They came here. They believe the cause was a popcorn bag, but they're not totally sure right now.
It's not a question, but a lesson. Party, yeah!
Everyone was looking forward to one thing and one thing only this weekend: homecoming. All of the music and dancing.
Live after an oncoming car struck his patrol car head-on. At about 1/4 till 3 a.m. Thursday, Officer Dave Lindy was sitting in the left turn lane on southbound 4th Street Southwest at the last stoplight before heading out of town. That is when an oncoming car slammed into Lindy's squad car.
However, in the case of Whitley Tesla, a third-year student who made national news for being caught via security camera breaking into a Cedar Falls McDonald's, the decision to alert campus has been questioned by many, including fellow students.
Police were called to the GOAT around 12:30 Sunday morning. The fight allegedly started when the girlfriend of Martin Hyatt budged in line outside of the GOAT.
She was then allegedly called a derogatory name, which caused Hyatt to start throwing punches. Here you see blood that remains from the fight in the Fainting Goat parking lot. Hyatt then fled the scene and headed back to
No school in NCAA history in any division has ever won 2 national titles in different sports on the same day.
Something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
What an interesting year in terms of Wartburg.
lots of big stories and all the sports that happen. And
Especially with the 2 happening on the same day. And with
Yeah.
that, signing off for one last time, I'm Andrew Bridgewater.
And I'm Jacqueline Schutte.
Have a good night, and thanks for watching WTV8 News.